I'm Barry Sahajian, and this video is Introduction to Jazz Bass Soloing Number 2. In Jazz Bass Soloing Number 1, I covered using a minor chord and an approach note to the fifth. This turns out to be a blues scale, basically, and that was pointed out to me by comments made on the video. However, that is true. It was a blues scale, but also it was the first step in learning how to use approach notes. And at the same time, it gave some people commented that it was a very valuable tool, because now they can, instead of just playing a minor triad or a minor pentatonic scale, now they can add a note that gives some blues to it, or some jazz as well. Jazz and blues, actually blues is sort of a part of jazz, a beginning stage of jazz, or other people may look at it another way. So anyway, I'm going to add two more notes, and we're going to do it on a major scale, a major triad rather, a C major triad, and we're going to add an approach note to the root and an approach note to the third. So now we're going to be working with approach notes to root, third, and fifth. It will no longer sound like a blues scale. It's going to sound more like jazz now. And there's a lot of things you can do with it. You can play some real fast licks, as you heard on the introduction, and there's a lot more you can do. And if you like this kind of thing, please subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. There's a lot more coming, and I can really use the help to keep me going. Let's get started. So you have a major triad. I'd like to show you two ways of playing it. So the first one is this. Third fret A string or C, second fret D string E, G on the fifth fret of the D string. Then you have third fret A string C, seventh fret A string E, fifth fret D string G. So what you do is you have these two shapes, and you just put a half step approach to each of them. Right, like that, and then you use it on the octave as well. The first thing you can do is it works pretty good on tapping. So what you would do on this one with the tapping would be 13th fret D string would be the E flat, which is the approach note to the E, which is the third of the C chord, and then the fifth. Then we can go up to approach note to the third and landing on the root right up here. That would be 13th fret on the D string, which would give you your approach note to the third, which is an E flat to an E, E flat to an E, and then you hit the root. Then we can move down here and play an approach note to the fifth. Now it's starting to sound like music, something you could use, that would be interesting in a solo. You can also do that without tapping. Go up one more. We'll go from an approach to the G right here. I guess that would be the 16th fret to the 17th fret, an F sharp to a G, an approach note to the G, half step below, and then up to the E up here, way up high, and that would be 20, I guess, and so you would go approach to the G, and then you hit up to the E. There's a few ideas to work with. When you're using these approach notes, you've got to understand one thing that really makes a difference in the sound. And that's whether you're on the strong beat or the weak beat. I know a lot of people don't think about that, but the resolution changes its sound if, for instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So it's and 1 I'm doing there. So the approach note is happening on the upbeat, and the resolution is handled is on when you land on the downbeat. But now watch what happens when I turn it around. I put the approach note on the strong beat and the target note on the weak beat. So you got 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now you heard that it sounds different, you know, so that's a consideration. I mean, you don't have to really think out loud when you do that, but you know, you may want to intentionally do that to change the sound. So now if you go now back, I'll go back to putting the approach note on the upbeat and landing on the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2. Now just change it. Last thing I just played, I changed it around to have the approach note on the weak beat landing on the strong beat. That is the strongest sound actually, to have the approach note on the weak beat and landing on the target tone, chord tone on the strong beat.